The gates of Lurgan Park, Craigavon Borough Council's picturesque venue, have once again been thrown open to the North Armagh Motorcycle and Car Club to run Ireland's richest single venue event, the Burma Rally. With the prize fund doubled this year, not even the weather can dampen the excitement, especially when you can bump into such rallying legends as Tony Pond, who with support from Right Travel Services and the Royal Mail has brought over his Metro to take the Burma Challenge.
Tony, you've done many events all over the world, but this has got to be a bit different.
You're right there. I like the format of it. I think it's really great. Maybe it's the way things are going to go. As you say, I've done East African safaris and all sorts of things. But this requires a different sort of approach, I think. It's quite tight, easy to make mistakes, but you still got to go quick.
How recently have you driven a Metro?
Oh, last Friday. That's the first time for about 2 years, though. Yeah. Last time competitively was the Birmingham Super Prix.
We catch up with Robbie Philpott writing strange hieroglyphics in the rain.
What is that, Ben?
Long 3 right.
Okay. Is it as fast as it was last year?
Probably is now at the minute, but it was very wet last year compared to now.
Okay. Much quicker out at the back of the course this year than it was last year?
This is definitely a lot better, but it's probably going to cut up with quite a bit more.
Do you think will that cut up?
I'd say once those 4-wheel drive machines get in there, it'll poke holes in it.
Okay.
I think.
I suppose you just need to watch for it?
I think so.
Robbie, what are you doing here?
We're making pace notes, which is maybe something a little bit unusual for us in Lurgan Park, but we've decided that with the competition that we have here this year that it's worth going through the pain of riding about on a bicycle to make pace notes in this weather.
Explain what you've got down there.
Basically what we have is we note every bend, a degree of the bend, using a number system running from number 1 through to number 6, 1 being the fastest, 6 being the slowest. And then we have distances in between running from 20 yards up to 150. And that gives us a very accurate notation of the course this year.
So just explain what you've written down there.
Okay, we've got 153 right. Well, that's 150 yards, which is something that our car will be going basically flat out on, into a 3 right, which is something that's probably approaching a 45 or a 50 degree bend. 60 then gives me the distance between that bend and into a junction, which is turn long 3 right. Again, just a notation that the bend goes on, the junction goes on for quite a period of time. And again, a 45 degree bend. Kenny will tell me what those are. I'll read those, I suppose, a split second before we arrive into them actually on the event.
And right down there, what happens when there's a really bad place?
And there's a really bad place where you would have then 20. And that's an equivalent to a swear in pace note terms. 3 of those exclamation marks.
Danger.
Danger.
Lurgan Park is unforgiving in the dry, and in the wet conditions it has to be treated with the greatest respect. When drivers as experienced as Bertie Fisher are apprehensive, you can appreciate the risks.
I've never done Lurgan Park apart from it's been going dry, and obviously it's a bit difficult today with these showers, and I was just over having a look there to try and make a final decision as to what tyres we're going to use.
This Metro belongs to Steve Soffronio, a new name in Irish rallying.
I've had the car actually 2 years. We've actually done the Welsh Tarmac Championship, of which we won. That was my first year in rallying. We won 11 out of 11 events there, scored nearly maximum points. And then we decided to have a go at the motoring news rounds. But the biggest problem was time away from work with the recce periods on the Irish rounds. And then I decided this year to have a bit of fun with Admiral Sportswear and Hartley Pensions. And I thought, what better way than to come over to Ireland and kick off a season here, really.
Willie, extra passenger today, the in-car camera. How do you feel about that?
To be honest, I've been up from 6 o'clock this morning worrying about it. This is a new end of rallying to me, but I think when they leave the first stage it shouldn't be a problem on.
I believe you forget all about it,
yeah,
so they say.
Well, I hope so anyway, but just have to watch ourselves, and unfortunately the rain's not helping us any 2-wheel drive people, but I think from a competitor's point of view it's a credit to be here today, to be invited and as a competitor in the top 40, so I'm happy to be here.
Fisher's 4-wheel drive Toughmac Group A Cosworth, co-driven by Rory Kennedy, is the #1 seed. But understandably, Tony Pond with local co-driver Don Wilmot is the one they all fear. Pond is a Lurgan Park novice, unlike 4-times winner Kenny McKinstry, who's hired a 4-wheel drive and slightly modified Group N Cosworth especially for the occasion. He's followed by another Burma expert, last year's winner Kenny Colbert. Down the avenue of trees comes the Cosworth, which has been back to RED preparations following its Donegal demise the weekend before. Tony Pond starts cautiously. Well, cautiously for him, that is.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Now let's get some first-hand knowledge of the Burma Challenge from the expert, Kenny McKinstry, with Robbie Philpott on the notes.
Long 3 left, continues 40, turn 3 left, maybe. 100. Crest into 3 right, 60. Turn hairpin right. 30. 3 right, maybe. 80. 3 left, maybe. 40. Long 3 left, continues 30. 3 right into 3 right.
Off the tarmac onto the gravel path that had been regraded since last year.
30. Right.
And look out for the trees.
Long 2 left into 2 right, maybe. 60. Long 2 right, tightens into 1 right, into 4 left. Don't cut. 80. 5 right and turn hairpin right. Keep it neat. 100.
Back to the tarmac. But now comes the chicane.
80. Right 80, second arrow. Turn 5 left. 100. Turn 5 left, don't cut. 150.
Donny Keating decides the quickest way through the chicane is to widen it. David Greer also has a 4-wheel drive Group A Cosworth, this time a self-prepared car.
60, right 60. Right 60.
We're now approaching the end of the stage, the fastest section in the park.
Long right for 150. Right at tree, 100, keep right at tree and cut 2 left. That's it. Is she missing?
As Steve Sofronio sets off on his run with local co-driver Ian Besant, we learn that nothing was missing on the Calibre car. Kenny has been fastest on the first run by 1 second from Pond and Fisher. Mervyn Hill has this unusual 4-wheel drive Mazda RX-7. And the two Stevens, Emerson and McCann, give us an early indication that they're going to be the entertainers of the event. They might as well be, because without 4-wheel drive, you're on a hiding to nothing. Eamon McAleenan was leading Lurgan last year when his extraordinary Nissan-powered Toyota let him down. Another Lurgan regular, George Elliott, his rear-wheel drive Peugeot will be another in the entertainments committee.
Tony Pond's proximity to this tree shows just how committed he is to winning this event. He will take 3 seconds back from McKinstry to lead after the second run through this stage. Kenny's efforts haven't been helped by a missed gear change. But Bertie Fisher regrets that he didn't bring forestry tyres with him. He is third, 2 seconds behind McKinstry by the end of the stage. And here's a sensation. David Greer and Mark Crowell are only a second behind the Fermanagh men, and they will equal McKinstry's time on this stage. Donny Keating's at the chicane bashing again. And Stephen Emerson? Well, what can we say? Was that a misfire, though? Kenny Colbert is the quickest Willie Singleton in the MJ O'Rourke coal importers escort shows just what a fight it is to keep a two-wheel drive car on course. David Hogan reads the notes.
5 left. Repeat that, 5 left. 50 right 6. Sudden junction right 7. 50.
Willie is also about to go chicane bashing. But his chances of a good result will be shattered by a time-consuming puncture on the next stage. Meanwhile, it's back to work.
Left 7 here. 300. Crest 1, brake to junction left 7. 30. Right 1 to left 2 to junction right 6. That's here. 30. Crest 1.
As Willie dashes to the finish of stage 2, we meet some of the other top two-wheel drive contenders. Stephen McWhinney's Lotus Sunbeam lying in 10th place. And Dominic McLaughlin's more humble 1600cc Sunbeam. Ken Irwin is trailing an expensive smokescreen. And Ian Bishop is locked in combat with Seamus Carey for the 1300cc Group A class.
Kenny, what are you at?
Just putting a wee bit of pattern onto some slick plumb to see if I can get a bit more grip in the mud. It's very, very difficult to decide what to do. I mean, we have forest tyres there and we have wet tyres. So difficult to know. Just playing ourselves, really.
All right, you were quickest in the first run, but Tony Pons pulled it back now.
Yeah, I missed a gear just going down this straight here.
It's a hectic life, this marshalling, especially when the North Armagh boys are doing all the work. Stage 3 is in the reverse direction, and it takes in the fast, loose section over the hill. Watch the maestro in action as he practices a deceptively economic style which will prove to be 2 seconds quicker than the opposition on this run. Kenny is determined that this visitor isn't going to show him up on his own patch, and he puts in a mighty effort on stage 3.
100. 4 right, don't cut. Repeat, don't cut. 40. Left 40.
This is where bravery counts.
Long 2 left for 100. 2 left maybe into right 80. Left 40, 4 left tightens. 40, turn 2 right maybe.
It's the last corner on the stage, and Kenny loses it. Derek McGarrity's in worse trouble. The turbo pipe has come adrift. Fortunately, Kenny was over the finish line before his trip into the bushes. Again, David Greer's impressive, setting 3rd quickest time with Fisher.
With 5 of the 7 stages down, he will have a 17-second advantage over McKinstry, who is coming under increasing threat from Fisher. It's the precision of the Isle of Man domiciled driver that's so impressive. At the moment, the locals have no answer to the former Talbot, Vauxhall and Rover Works driver. Kenny's lost seconds over a trivial matter. He accidentally knocked off the cut-off switch with his knee. Bertie Fisher has won Lurgan Park on 2 previous occasions, but this is unlikely to be the 3rd unless Pond makes a mistake. But 2nd is very achievable. Only with 4-wheel drive can you get away with this. David Greer's confidence in his new car is growing by the mile. Compare the tire widths on Donny Keating's Metro 6R4 with those of the following Metro belonging to Sofronio. Following a protest over the width of the car driver's tires, he leaves the park without completing the final stage. This promotes Steve to 5th. Mervyn Hill and Nigel McGee maintain 7th place, and some amazing angles on the Mazda. With the turbo fixed, is on a spectacular charge back up the field. And Ken Colburn, despite a puncture, maintains top 2-wheel drive honours in 6th place. Emerson's the 2nd fastest 2-wheel drive car in 8th place, and his car control is magic. And now another master of control, Stephen McWhinney, who opposite locks his Lotus Sunbeam to 9th place. And staying in the entertaining class, we have Trevor Moore in his 2-litre Escort, who is fighting a private war with Philip Young's similar car. Ian Rock, navigated by his wife, leads his class. And that 1300 Group A battle is as hot as ever. Seamus Carey, seen here, is trading times all afternoon with Ian Bishop. And here is Ian Bishop. Despite coming to a halt at this junction, he will tie on time at the end of the day, and Bishop will get the verdict with more stage victories. In Group N, Liam O'Callaghan's charade is deceptively swift. This category will also end in a tie on time. Donald Bones seems to be having braking problems in his Astra. But the eventual Group N winner, Pat White, gets this one completely wrong. The Devon man recovers, and again, because of more stage victories, he takes the showroom class.
With Pond out in front, all eyes are now on 2nd place. That mistake with the ignition switch has cost Kenny dearly, and Fisher is now closing in.
Left 40, turn open 5 left. 20 bridge and immediate turn 6 right. And 4 left. 100. 4 right, don't cut. keep left. 3 right, opens. Down into 3 right, opens.
Bertie's on the limit, and the superior specification of the Toughmac car is too much for McKinstry. So second place goes to Fisher and Rory Kennedy. David Greer's had a fine afternoon. He and Mark Crowe take 4th place. Steve Sofronio and Ian Besant are 5th in their Metro. Kenny Colbert and Peter Donnelly a fine 6th in the first 2-wheel drive car home. Mervyn Hill and Nigel McGee are 7th in their hybrid Mazda. Stephen Mahoney and Neville Hill 8th and 2nd in the 2-wheel drive cars. Derek McGarrity and Declan Campbell recover to an excellent 9th place in the Mazda 323. And Trevor Moore and Philip McRae complete the top 10. And what of our man, Willie Singleton? Well, that puncture on stage 3 sadly dropped him down to 29th place in the MJ O'Rourke car.
Sudden right 6. 70. Junction right 5. 30 here. Right 1 to left 2 and junction left 6. 20. Junction right 7.
Despite some fine driving, the Burma competition is so intense that any delay is very costly.
And so the 1991 Burma Rally goes to Tony Pond and Don Wilmont by an unbelievable margin of 24 seconds, possibly the largest winning margin ever in the history of this sprint event.
I think it took, 2 or 3 stages before I started driving the car, and it wasn't driving me. I mean, they're quite some animal. You just have to get hold of them and make them work. The Metro's probably was one of the best cars in the world. You know, it was one of the best Group B cars. And okay, they pulled the teeth out of them and tried to slow them down, but they're still brilliant bits of kit and do a tremendous job. And it's the best car to have for this kind of event.
Well, let's talk to the man who's been sitting beside you all afternoon. Don, we see you quite often in the Tarmac Championship. How did you enjoy your ride in the park today?
The easiest ride I've had ever. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.